Assembling your Applewood cook stove. Your stove comes almost fully assembled and screwed down to the wooden shipping crate. Using a 5/16 socket wrench, remove the 4 screws from the base of the stove. Place the stove onto the hearth, taking care not to scratch the hearth. Open the box located in the base of the stove and complete the assembly as follows. Step 1. Place the rear shield on the bottom of the oven at the back. The shield fits between the side wall of the oven, with the flanges facing down. Step 2. Place the front sliding heat shield on the bottom of the oven at the front. Orient the 2 square cutouts toward the front of the oven. You can then use the tool to slide the shield forward and backward. Slide the shield all the way to the front of the oven for baking and home heating. Slide the shield backward to expose the high heat zone of the oven for boiling or frying. Step 3. Slide the rear rack to the back of the oven on the lower oven rail. You can then move the racks to the upper rail any time that you would like. Step 4. Slide the front rack onto the lower oven rail in front of the rear rack. You can move the racks to the upper rail any time that you would like. Step 5. Your oven thermometer needs to stay outside the oven unless you are baking. When baking, place the thermometer in the circle cutout of the front rack. When you are not baking, there is a knockout on the back left corner of the stovetop that is designed to store the thermometer. Remove this knockout with a screwdriver and hammer if you would like to use this location. Otherwise, the thermometer can be stored below the oven or placed anywhere on the cooktop to gauge the temperature of the griddle area. The oven area can get very hot when not baking. Do not exceed 550 degrees oven temperature with the thermometer in the oven. The thermometer will discolor and become difficult to read. Step 6. Place the griddle on the top of the oven. The griddle can also be slid down onto the oven rails to move it closer to the heat. The griddle, racks, and front heat shield can be removed to expose the high heat boiling zone of the stove. Configure the stove prior to starting a fire so that you do not have to handle these components while hot. See Section 5 for more information on cooking with the stove. Step 7. There are threaded holes provided to install the tool hook on the left side of the stove at either the front or the back corner. Use the bolts provided and a 7/16 wrench to install the tool hook. Firmly press the small decorative rivet caps into the remaining 6 holes.